Knowledge that gets noticed.
So it looks like Pakistan might just be shifting into reverse gear. There's a really controversial new constitutional amendment making the rounds, and critics are sounding the alarm. They're saying that what little civilian rule the country has is now in some serious jeopardy. In fact, a lot of people are calling this 27th constitutional amendment an indirect coup. Now, what does that mean? The idea is, instead of a direct military takeover, which, Pakistan has seen plenty of times before, the very DNA of the Constitution is being rewired to hand all the real power over to the military. And that brings us to the big question we're going to dig into today. Is Pakistan's constitution being fundamentally changed to lock in military dominance for good? Let's break down what's actually in these proposed changes. Okay, so what exactly is in this 27th Amendment? Well, the changes are pretty sweeping, and they get right to the heart of who actually holds the reins of power in the country. First up, the amendment creates a brand new post, the Chief of Defense Forces, or CDF. Think of this as a supreme commander who will have authority over every branch of the military, the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. It basically centralizes all that military might under one incredibly powerful person. And then there's this. It formally recognizes the rank of Field Marshal in the Constitution itself. Now, this title has been used before for the current Army Chief, Asim Munir, but it never had any constitutional backing. This amendment changes all of that, making it an official 5-star rank that's held for life. This puts the person holding it way above the normal political fray. And just to put this power shift into perspective, take a look at this. The old Army Chief position had a 3-year tenure. The new Field Marshal gets the job for life. Their authority explodes from just commanding the army to a unified command over everything. And maybe the most critical change, civilian oversight is basically gone. The new role reports directly to the president and prime minister, not the broader government. But it doesn't stop there. The changes go way beyond just the military structure. This amendment also pulls financial power away from the provinces, centralizes control over who gets to be a judge, and formally weakens the parliament's ability to keep the military in check. We're talking about a massive consolidation of power on multiple fronts.
So you have to ask the question, why is all this happening right now? The timing here is no accident. It really seems to be a perfect storm of specific military goals and political calculations.
From what we can see, there are 3 key things driving this. First, you've got the fallout from Operation Sindoor, a recent military defeat that leaders themselves admit taught them many lessons about needing to change things up. Second, there's a pretty clear move to make the current Army Chief's power official and permanent. And third, it looks like the civilian government has decided that siding with the military is its best bet for political survival. So, what does all this mean for Pakistan's future? What are the real consequences here? Well, critics are warning that this isn't just a simple power shift, it's a full-blown remilitarization of the entire state. And to really get how serious this is, you gotta look at the history. Pakistan has spent more than half its life under direct military rule. And even when civilians were technically in charge, the military has always been the real power broker behind the scenes. A lot of observers see this amendment as a formal return to that era. Only this time, the military's power would be etched directly into the Constitution. Domestically, the impacts are just huge. The classic checks and balances you need in a democracy, they're being taken apart. Parliament loses its oversight role, provinces like Sindh and Balochistan lose their autonomy, and the whole idea of an independent judiciary is thrown into question. It's a massive power grab away from elected and independent institutions. Now, a fundamental shift like this doesn't just happen in a bubble. The rest of the world is watching. So how are the key international players reacting to this military power play in Pakistan? For its neighbor, India, the main concern is, of course, regional stability. The fear is that a more powerful, constitutionally protected military in Pakistan could become more aggressive. And that, in turn, really increases the risk of future conflicts and military flare-ups. China, on the other hand, probably sees this whole thing pretty differently. From Beijing's point of view, a strong, centralized military command is actually a simpler and more reliable partner to deal with, especially for huge projects like the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. It means they don't have to deal with a messy civilian government. And what about the United States? Well, its position is murky, to say the least. The US has a long, very complicated history of working directly with Pakistan's military leaders. often choosing security cooperation over democratic ideals. Whether the current administration will follow that path or push back against this power grab, well, that's still up in the air. And all of this leaves us with one final and really crucial question. This amendment isn't just some legal tweak, it's about redefining the entire country. And when the military is the one holding the pen, it really makes you wonder, who actually gets to write the nation's future?